joining us. Appreciate your being here, and we look forward to the discussion. Before that, I'd like to say hi and big thank you to our participants who are also watching us on YouTube streaming today, and also on Zoom platform. And I saw we have plus 500 participants registered right now. Alhamdulillah, I'm so delighted to see all of you here, eager to engage with the issues we are dealing today. And welcome to all of you. Welcome on board. And I think it will be a great discussion to look forward. But before we come to the main agenda, let us hear the recitation of the Holy Quran from our student, Brother Hafizin. Please, Brother Hafizin, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون Sadaqallahul aliyyul Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, because of due to the bad connection, I will repeat my sentence. Thank you, Brother Hafizin, for your recitation of the Holy Quran. Ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to the next agenda, which is an opening remark from Dr. Atiqi Chollisni, and we will go to the main session shortly after that. And I'd like to introduce her briefly. Dr. Atiqi is the head of Sekolah Tinggi Ekonomi Syariah Islamic Village. She is also a President Commissioner of PT BPRS Berkah Ramadan Tangerang, Indonesia, and she holds a master degree in management from Pelita Harapan University and completed her doctoral degree in Islamic Banking and Finance from International Islamic University, Malaysia. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Atiqi if you would please give the opening remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Maya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'du. All praises to Allah SWT, the most gracious and merciful, that because of His mercy we can do this international seminar. May peace be upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who had brought us from the darkness to the lightness, and as the greatest the role model of all time for humankind. And also, I'm very pleased to be here today for the opening of this international web seminar. And I would like to welcome you to this event about the art of Islamic business and finance during and after pandemic Muslim countries experience. I especially want to welcome to our speakers and participants coming from outside Indonesia, especially from Malaysia, Bahrain, Oman, Pakistan, India, and Nigeria. And Alhamdulillah, until this morning, still registered to our webinar. And thank you for more than 500 participants that has joined to the webinar today. Thank you so much. I would like to share my screen. Okay. Yeah, dear honorable speakers and also participants, we know that recently we are facing the inconvenience truth that the COVID-19 outbreak affects all aspects of our daily activities, including in financial sector. The instability also affected to Muslim countries. Before I started my presentation, I would like to mention to all of you about the Surah Al-Baqarah uh, verses 153 and 154, uh, when Allah said that, and seek help in patience and prayer. Why Allah mentioned this ayah? On the next ayat, Allah SWT said that وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنْفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ أُولَئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَّبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ وَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ صدق الله العظيم. And certainly we shall test you with something of beer, hunger, loss of wealth, leaves, and fruits, but give glad tidings to As-Sabirin, the patient ones, who, when afflicted with calamity, say, truly to Allah we belong, and truly to Him we shall return. They are those on whom are the salawat, or blessing, from their Lord, and receive His mercy, and it is they who who are the guided ones. Al-Baqarah 155 till 157. Uh, Honorable speakers and also participants on this ayah, Allah said that He will testing us with all of the uh, not good condition, but He will give some of the answer with all the problem that we have now. And on the the ayah on 153 and 154, Allah gives guidance to seek help on Him with patience and also prayer. This COVID-19 as a background of information, we all are already know that it is a novel coronavirus that had not previously been identified in humans. The virus is highly transmissible and thousands of new cases are being reported around the world each day. And when I tried to get the data, the last data on 31st July 2020, the outbreak of this current virus disease has been confirmed in around 210 countries or territories, and is already infected more than 17 million people worldwide, and the number of deaths is become 600, more than 600,000. And the most severely affected include the US, Brazil, and also United Kingdom. And then currently, the global economy is going slow down due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and most countries in the world also are battling with this disease, where it results in multi-dimensional implication. So regarding the economics intelligence unit, predicted that the global economic growth will only be 1.9% in 2020, and the lowest since the global financial crisis. This data I took from the KNKS, Committee National Coin Syariah Indonesia. As they said that as the growth of the economy plummets, the Islamic finance industry will also be impacted. This decrease consequently will reduce revenue sharing or margin, especially of the banks, which also reduce their profit. So on the other hand, there is an agreement among the economists where the economic damage global from the global COVID-19 pandemic is predicted will have severe negative impacts on the global economy. Most major economies will lose at least 2.4% of the value, and also the gross domestic product. To put this number in perspective, global GDP was estimated at around 86.6 trillion US dollars in 2019, meaning that just 0.4% drop in economic growth amounts to almost 3.5 trillion US dollars in lost economic output. However, these predictions were made prior to COVID-19 becoming a global pandemic and before the implementation of widespread restriction on social contact to stop the spread of the virus. So based on this background of the COVID information, I would like also mention again, what is the foundation of Islamic business? As a Muslim, we have to know that all of our activity must be intention to Allah SWT. The first that you have to remember that Tawhid in every aspect, including in business. And secondly, Sharia in business and also Akhlaq in business. Tawhid is the intention of Muslim to do all activities. Therefore, on this pandemic, we can feel that most of business are failed, and most the economic is going slow down. So as a Muslim, we have to remember our first intention that to do business is an ibadat for Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So we do ikhtiyar, we do tawakal to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So uh, on the other hand, we have to also remember that a business must be in line with the Sharia activity and Sharia that Allah has give the guidance to us. the activity of our business must be in line with the Sharia, where all transactions must be free from maghrib or maisir, gharar, and haram, also, and riba. So when these two things, we have to keep this. It is not enough if it is not together with the ahlak in our business, because Rasulullah SAW, when we try to see his history, historical of Rasulullah SAW, uh, the length of his profession as the businessman is longer than rather than his time when he is a prophet. About 25 23 or 25 years, Rasulullah SAW became a businessman, and he performs that to other people. Uh, and on that time, we have known that Rasulullah SAW was called as Al-Amin, or the who can be trusted, due to the perform of his akhlaq in daily life, including a business. So a good attitude and behavior should be shown by Muslim who is doing Islamic business, and it is one part that cannot be separated with the another foundation of Islamic business. So this one is the data of the global Islamic economics nowadays. I took from the Global Islamic Economic Report on 2019-2020. On this uh, graph, we can see that the number of spending for the Muslim, especially,
Hello, we're sorry due to the bad connection. Can you, yeah, to all participants, can you please hear my voice? If you can hear my voice, please chat on the comment box to make sure that we still have good connections. We still try to connect to Dr. Atiqi Chollisni. Ya, Pak? Okay, to all participants, we are sorry for this bad connection. We still try to connect to Dr. Atiqi Chollisni. And while we try to connect to Dr. Atiqi Chollisni, may I give some important information to all of you. That for those participants, you still be able to claim e-certificate and also ask questions to the presenters if you attend via YouTube live streaming, as long as you follow the rules as I mentioned before. Maybe the connection on our Zoom platform is not quite good. Still, you can be able to watch our presentations, watch our international webinar from YouTube streaming. Maybe the operator can help for this situation.
Yeah, sorry for the bad connection here, but inshallah it will not be a problem again. So back to the global Islamic economy, the report now in its seventh annual edition and shines an ever strong spotlight on the 1.8 billion Muslim consumers around the world. This year estimates that Muslims spend about 2.2 trillion in 2018 across the food, pharmaceutical, and lifestyle sectors that are impacted by Islamic faith-inspired ethical consumption needs. It means that that I have mentioned before about the foundation of Islamic business becomes some of the intention or the condition that influence the Muslim to spend their money. And this spending reflects a healthy 5.2% year-on-year growth and is forecasted to reach about 3.2 trillion by 2024 US dollar, a cumulative annual growth rate about 6.2%. In addition, Islamic finance assets were reported to have reached 2.5 trillion US dollar in 2018. Yeah, you can see on the next slide here. Uh, so this one, the halal pharmaceutical, halal cosmetic, and also the Islamic finance, all of them are predicted will be going increase when it reach about on 2024, inshallah. And we see then that investor opportunity also will be increased significantly from 1.2 billion investment in 2018 uh, and will become year-on-year growth about 399%, mashallah. It's very big opportunity. So on this condition, we can see that this predicting before the condition of COVID-19. So today we can see and also we can listen from some of the speakers who will be talk today about the how the Islamic business and also Islamic finance uh, during the pandemic and also after the pandemic, inshallah. So the from the graph that I have mentioned and also the data that I have mentioned before, we can conclude that the Islamic economy has established and also give an increasingly important footing in the global economy. So on this webinar, we try to give some views from the speakers. Alhamdulillah, on this condition, especially the academician, some of the speakers are the academician, are also government agencies and practitioners, and they will try to solve the pandemic impact in their own perspective. But until now, this we know that COVID-19 is still running, so the purpose of this webinar is to present some views by them based on their own country's experience, and also explore what the feasible solution are to bring up Islamic business and finance to better growth after the pandemic. So this one, all our speakers, I would like to thank to special thank you to Dr. Iman Sastra as the head of Sharia Oman Arab Bank, Dr. Ali Muhammad as the senior lecturer of the Department of Economics, Bayero University, Kano, Nigeria, Dr. Fuadez Johari as associate professor from University Sains Islam Malaysia, the university that already cooperate with the Scholastic Academicians Islamic Village. Dr. Muhammad Rizki Prima Sakti as the assistant professor from University College of Bahrain, and Umi Wahida as the Islamic Social Finance expert, and also the director of Nurul Iman Al-Asariyah Islamic Boarding School Indonesia, who has more than 15,000 students free of charge to study on his school, on her school, yeah, mashallah. And we will learn from all of them to see their views, to see how they give some the perspective of this condition, and based on their experience also. So that's all what I want to share to you today. And thank you so much for all the participants, and especially for the speakers that has joined today. And thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Atiqi Chollisni, for your inspiring remarks. And I think the statement of a good attitude and behavior should be showed by Muslims who is doing Islamic business combined with the Tawheed and Sharia in business was very appropriate what we are dealing today with the pandemic and COVID-19. And what the government can do right now is setting up some policies, but still it's not from or unknown. And we need to go into that journey of the unknown. So thank you so much again to Dr. Atiqi. So without any further ado, I'd like to start the webinar, and I'd like to first introduce to our tremendous speaker today in seconds for presentation. The first will be from Dr. Fuada Jauhari, and then Dr. Muhammad Rizki Prima Sakti, and the third one should be will be Dr. Aliyu Dahir Muhammad, and then the fourth candidate Dr. Umi Wahida, and the last will be Dr. Iman Sastra Mihajat. So let's just get ready into it. And the goal of the next hour is to give us an overview of the situation on the impact of this COVID-19 pandemic on the speaker's country's experiences, how financial institutions are dealing with the current social and economic environment. Is there any different type of challenge your country should face, and also explore what the visible solutions are to bring up Islamic business and finance to better growth after the pandemic in your area. So what we've done is brought together a panel of academicians from Muslim countries who can share firsthand their experiences. Okay, now I would just like to very quickly go through a few housekeeping rules. So each speaker will be given 15 to 20 minutes each, delivered to the presentation of the material, and have a panel go first, and then open up for questions by click on the link we have given to you, or you can participate by giving feedback insight of what you think is important for the Islamic finance industry in the current situations. Thank you for that. Alrighty, now we shall move to our main agenda. As I mentioned before, that we have a very distinguished speakers today. The bios on your screen, and I'm not going to lie detail because of the durations. So may I call out our first speaker, Dr. Fuada Jauhari. She is an associate professor of faculty economics and muamalah from University Saint Islam Malaysia, USIM. Dr. Fuada received her master's and PhD in economics from University of Malaya. Her research interests and area of specializations include gender issues, Islamization of economic institutions, Muslim society, and poverty and equity. Please, Dr. Fuada, you may now have the floor.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Madam Mayang, for the moderations. So the slide, should I control the slide myself or what?
Yeah, you can slide your presentation by your side directly.
Okay, sure. Okay, let me share screen. Where? Lama. Okay, this is the one. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Thank you, Madam Moderator, Madam Mayang. Respected Honorable Dr. Atiqi Chollisni, Director for STES Islamic Village, respected panelists from various countries, participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. So today, I will present some typical error, mistake for that, never mind. The art of Islamic business and finance during and after pandemic Malaysian experience. So this is my first slide. I am Associate Professor Dr. Fuad Johari from Faculty of Economics and Muamalat. Today I will have like 50 minutes, Madam Maya? Oh, only 50 minutes, I have 36 slides.
Yeah.
Okay, I will go through the slides, so I will skip accordingly. So I will just show what we call that. I will highlight the important thing. Later on, participant will have my slides. Is it okay, Madam Maya?
Yeah, okay. I will remind you if time.
Okay, please remind me. As lecturer, sometimes I can't have having myself to be, like speak all the day long. Okay, so this is the content of my slide. I begin with the introduction, COVID-19 data and updates, and then I move to the real GDP, selected countries, Malaysian economy and growth, first quarter 2020, which is during the pandemic's COVID-19. And then the most important thing, the heart of presentation is the fourth point, which is the art of Islamic business and finance, contributing to the real economy. And then I come with some case, some practical case by Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, Zakat, Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia, and then I come up with the Islamic philanthropy, halal industry, and fintechs at the end of the slide, at the end of this presentation, and come up with the conclusions. Okay, this is some data on the coronavirus updates. In the left side is the Malaysians new cases per day, and the right side is the global data. And we understand in the global confirmation cases is around now is touching on the 18,824,250, with a total death 707,905, with a total recovery 11 million. So this is a big amount, means that this is a global pandemic. It's not a state issues, but it's a global pandemics. Recently, India's death toll passed 14,000 after record number of fatalities on Wednesday recently. Melbourne begins 6 weeks lockdown, closing most shops and businesses. France report highest daily number of cases in 2 months. I've heard that Indonesia economy is shrinking to first time in more than 2 decades amidst restrictions. Maybe panelists from Indonesia can explain more. And Malaysia, we are facing the second wave of COVID-19. Okay. So this is the overall picture of the second wave. The second wave of COVID-19. So we are now in the second wave during the CMCO, Conditional Movement Control Order. So we finish first wave, first part, and then recover, and then we come up with second wave, like a beginning of the second wave. So we have to be more extra precaution on this. So I think, yeah, this is something that being what we call that global phenomena. So we have to face the real reality. So this is the real reality. We have to face the data. So this is a positive case according to the state in Malaysia. I just go through. Okay, this is the international performance. Overall, real gross domestic product for selected countries, we can observe here. And following the COVID-19 pandemic, global GDP contracted 1.9% in first quarter 2020 compared to the first quarter 2009, 3.3%. You can see here the percentage annual changes is tremendous, what we call that, reflecting just for the first quarter of 2020. So you can see the US, Euro area, UK, China, South Korea, and Singapore. Okay. This is a snapshot of first quarter 2020 about Malaysia. Malaysia, GNI per capita is 44,140 ringgit Malaysia, with the GDP growth 0.7%. Okay, to overall picture, I want to highlight Malaysia. Our population is 32.7 million. Too small, I think it's small compared to Indonesia. I think Indonesia population is like 200 million kan nowadays kan. So Malaysia is 32.7 million. And then labor force, we have like unemployment like 0.5 million with the percentage of unemployment rate 3.5%. And then we have some commodities here, natural rubber, crude palm oil, fresh fruit branches. And domestic economy here, we have the left side. Okay, I just go through this. So this is Malaysian annual growth 2008-2009. You can see the first row, real gross domestic product. So 2018 for 4.8%, 2019 4.3%, 2020 the first quarter, the first quarter 0.7. So it's very what we can say. We can see the what we call it changing. We can see the what we call it highlighting the what we call it something different from compared to the previous years. And then we have some like some indicators here. Okay, so never mind. So this is the overall picture of the real gross domestic product. We can compare the first quarter 2020 with the first quarter 2019. It's a bit different. And then we can see domestic demand. We are more surviving on the domestic demand, and then some negative in the export and import, and we have very good in progress steadily in the services and some manufacturing. You can see from the slide. Okay, this is a very interesting research done by Department of Statistics of Malaysia, where Department of Statistics of Malaysia have done a research, a special survey effects on COVID-19 on economy and company, business and firms. So this survey was done throughout 4,094 companies and business firms, involving 43.4% on the micro business, 40.4% for small business, medium 9.1%, and large 7.2%. So interesting data, we can see at the left side, source of income, 67.8% companies and business firms state that no salaries and revenue during MCO, during the control movement, movement control order, 67.8%. So this is not a small numbers, it's a big numbers. And the right side, we can see during the survival for companies and business firms that provide full-time or half-pay leave to employee, 53.4% companies or business firm able to survive 1 to 2 months only if they provide full-time or half-pay leave to employees. So these numbers is quite significant. We have to be more what we call that. We have to we have to be alert on these numbers. So it's a serious numbers. It's a serious cases. So left side at the bottom, 68.9% companies or business firms use saving as the main source to accommodate operating costs or working capital during MCOs. So this is a very good good indicators lah, because they only use the saving, meaning that they can survive, but surviving crucially, surviving what we call it. Some of the companies using their like a gold, like to. That's why recently we have happened that gold's price is high, and because some of the businesses, some of the small companies, they have to sell golds and saving and everything to make sure that their businesses are surviving, but still they have the capital. That's good things. And loan, they depend on the loan 19.8% and capital injection 11.3%. Working from home, 33.5%, reducing working hours, 19.0%, unpaid leave, 16.5%, and employment terminations, 3.8%. So this is overall research done by Department of Statistics Malaysia, and this is the real reality. So because on top of that, 52.2%, Bumi Putra company is among the Muslim company. In Malaysia, we talk about Bumi Putra. Normally, the majority of Bumi Putra is the Muslim country. So this is the bottom of the presentation. The part of Islamic business and finance, contributing to the real economy. Interesting about Islamic business and finance, because these Islamic economics and Islamic finance are touching on the real economy. We are not like a surface of some loan, some what we call that something, the unviable thing. So we are contributing to the real economy. So even though that we are impacted by the COVID-19, but steadily surviving, progressively surviving as it is. Maksudnya kalau bisa kecil, kecil lah kan. If you can, we are surviving accordingly. So what is the contribution to the real economy? Number one, the prohibition of interest-based lending. No compounding interest with the government stimulus package, moratorium scheme, 6-month payment holiday. This makes the what we call it Islamic business and Islamic economics surviving. That's very important. So we have to be stick on this. This factor is some things that what we call that mentioned by Allah. Then we have to hold it forever after what we call it until akhirat. And number two, close linkage with the real economic transaction. Financial contract are representing either sales of goods and services on a profit and loss sharing arrangement. So this is make the Islamic business more surviving. And number three, the prohibition of speculative activities. We should avoid the short selling, speculations and everything. If we do speculating thing, maybe the impact more what we call that more hard and difficult. Okay, and then number four, the social value dimension, priorities investing in productive real economics activity, example, SMEs, infrastructure projects, that would be given the benefit to the stakeholder and public at large. And then the number five, the risk sharing concept, reducing the impact of sharing of the profit. During this COVID-19, Malaysians are busy with the intention of try to help people, try to give something, try to help people, because we understand during COVID-19, everyone are impacted, everyone are in trouble, everyone are in problem. So we try to help as many as we can, and then the what we call it, the environments on the giving side of it, of philanthropy side of it. Okay, new normal. There are several things increasing during crisis and COVID-19 pandemics. The first one, essential goods is crucial for domestic demands. We understand during COVID-19, tourism, airline, for example, electronic, and some other sector are impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So business, Islamic business, Islamic economy or Islamic business need to diversify with a variety of type. Especially we need to, we can't to leave the essentials area, essential goods, because during this COVID-19, essential good is crucial, especially for domestic demand. Domestic demand for essential goods and like retailing for everything is high, because that is the core, the core in economy. Number two, secondly, online transaction. We understand in the era of before the COVID-19, we come up with the fourth industrial revolutions. Okay, Malaysian try to pick up slowly. However, during this COVID-19, Malaysians are like forced to use the Internet of Things, this Internet of Things. We like it or not, during the COVID-19, we have to use the Internet. So business online platform, logistic, Grab food, e-hailing, etc. is commonly used as a new normal. So we accept that as a new normal. So like this fourth industrial revolution being accepted or being as a normal as early as we expected. Okay, number three, goal. Impacted small, medium businesses. Sometimes now they are having like goal, they're selling goal for business survival. impacted household due to the employment and no income during COVID-19, they go to some like a pawn house or arahnu, and the demand for pawning or arahnu is increasing during the MCOs. So this is a new normal. So we have like this gold price hiking. Number 4, zakat expenses. Zakat distribution are more crucial during a crisis. And we understand also we need new innovation, new fatwa to endorse during this COVID-19, because in our daily life in Malaysia, everything changed. Even not only on zakat, normal ibadat, like I think same thing with Indonesia. We have a new SOP, new distancing, and then with the new SOP and everything, etc. So we have to accept the new normal. Okay, number 5, altruism and charity are increasing, especially assistance for the needy. So nowadays, we try to help as many as we can. And then number 6, crowdfunding and voluntary activities is nurturing. I call it as a back as nature, because last time during our childhood time, our grandfather, grandmother, our parents, having this voluntary activity and try to helping each other. So during COVID-19, this would become a nurturing and a nurture. So this is some fact done by Bank Islam. Bank Islam is the first Islamic banking in Malaysia, and in my slide, we have explained how Bank Islam try to try to help the needs, and try to come out with a commitment to have this value-based intermediations priority in helping the customers and business partner withstand the economic impact and pandemics. Okay, you can see the third paragraph. Bank Islam is executing measures and advocated by Bank Negara, which will ensure the following. First, financial intermediation function of the financial sector to remain intact. And then secondly, access to financing and banking facilities to remain available. And third, banking institution to focus on supporting the nation's economic circumstances. Detail of the measures are focused on the following: moratoriums, and then financial limits, drawdown on prudential capital and liquidity buffers, review on financial, statistical and regulatory reports requirements. So you can have this in the link. Okay, this is some of the action, proactive action by Bank Islam, and try to help especially the SMEs, because SMEs the heart of the real economy. We can't let the SME to having problem by themselves, and Bank Islam is trying hard to helping them. Okay, this is some of collaborations. Okay, we have to understand if these like Bank Islam, Islamic entities, we have to be a collaborate with the Islamic Religious Council, especially in terms of zakat. And this Bank Islam having like a Sadaqah House is kind of like crowdfunding platform to gather, to come out to have a collection from the society and to contribute to the society, to back to the society. So this crowdfunding is very crucial in these MCOs during this COVID-19. And then utilizing zakat contributions through Wakalah scheme and to create microfinancing package for potential recipient. So this collaboration between Bank Islam, Religious Council and SME Corporation is very crucial to gear up the economy, to boost up the economy of Malaysia. So this is some initiative by Amal during COVID-19, relief for medical workers, aid for the shelter homes, supporting the media organization, protecting the frontline workers, etc. Okay, just move forward. So this is zakat. We understand zakat is what we call it, is compulsory for all Muslims. So during this COVID-19, the role is more crucial. So the role is more what we call it. We feel the roles during this COVID-19. And then this is the literal meaning of zakat. All these literal meanings is actually in impact with the Islamic economics, and we have to optimize the role of zakat later on. Okay, so this is the role of zakat in accelerating SDGs and during COVID-19. This is social expenditure in Malaysia is increasing, and zakat also during COVID-19 also the expenditure of zakat is more crucial as is more what you call it increase. Okay, this is some contributions by the Majlis Agama Islam Negeri, the Religious Council of Malaysia. We have to understand Malaysia, we have 14 states. So all these 14 states work accordingly to contribute to allocate the zakat according to the states, and allocations of the zakats around June is like 426.9 million. Okay, so just during COVID-19, the zakat assistance is what we call that it's more distribute. So this is wakaf. I just see some of the wakaf as a game changer, the benchmark for the individual wealth, and then this is some of the contribution by the Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia, Foundation of Wakaf Malaysia. This is some of the contribution to help the some needy, the hospital aids, and then food stipends, and then this is some of the recipients among them. There's some Asnaf, V40, Frontliner, non-Muslim, OKU, etc. Okay, so this is Tawrid Wakaf. With the basic principle of Wakaf, Habsul Asal, Wasablu Samarat. If the Wakaf is failed to function based on the original purpose, it will eliminate the nature of the benefit of the Wakaf itself. Then Tawrid Wakaf is one of the solution. Okay, and new updates, Tawrik is implemented underneath of Istibdal in the Wakaf practice in Malaysia. In COVID-19, like for example, there are some premises of Wakaf premises can't get the revenue from the business. So some Wakaf entities have to be strategized, and Mutawali have to plan well and strategize of the Wakaf institution to be more. How many minutes we have?
Yeah,
Okay.
you still have
So this is
3
Islamic philanthropy. We have to move. And then yes, this is the same. We have launched crowdfunding, collect cash and to help our students. And then this is the growth, expecting growth. Some of the sector in Islamic economy, halal food, Islamic finance, halal travel, modest fashion, halal media, recreations. There are some expecting growth in 2020. I think Dr. Atiqi also have mentioned this. And there's this in Malaysia report with 22.6 million population in 2006. We have 29% bank. People are bankable. 52% insured, 70% urban, 75% with smartphone penetration, 86% internet penetration, etc. You can read it. Okay, and this is very crucial where the secular flow income and third sector economy. If we can see all these sector economy are contributed to the GDP and the income of economy, and don't forget of this sector, which is the sector where we have mentioned here is the zakat, wakaf, sadaqah, etc., infaq and everything. So this also contribution of the sector economy is more crucial because the contribution from the society for the society. So this was also will be gear up the economy of Malaysia. Okay. Islamic finance for tomorrow, time horizon, okay, Muslim time. Of course, we understand that Islamic business, Islamic economy, our Muslim time is not only here world, but hereafter. So that is finance and business steadily and move accordingly during pandemic COVID-19. Don't be what we call that. Just move on, whatever it is, because this is a test by Allah to us, and then our time horizon is long. No worries of what happened today. And then number 2, method of objective, halal income, abide Sharia at all time, achieving certain amount, let's another objective, purified through zakat, well protected needs, distributed life and everything for perfect circulation during pandemic and crisis. And then number 3, achieving Al-Falah as the objective. This is what we have mentioned always in the class to our students and to everyone, that we have to achieving the Al-Falah as the main objective in Islamic economy. And as mentioned in the Surah 61:11, tu'minuna billahi wa rasuli wa tujahiduna fi sabilillahi bi amwalikum wa anfusikum zalikum khairul lakum in kuntum ta'malun. We have to jihad fi sabilillah bi amwalikum, with our wealth, and ourselves, even in our hard situation or in our comfort situations. So the fourth, third sector economy is crucial, as I mentioned just now. And that's all. And we have also a video here. Later on, maybe you can go through by yourself for today. So this is some of the picture during the COVID-19. That's all.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Fuada, for sharing. I particularly like the way you show the Islamic finance instruments can be tailored to the short term and also the long term. And we have a clear agenda for us going forward in terms of how we can employ Islamic finance instruments to respond to the crisis that we have at hand. Thank you once again, Dr. Fuada. And for information, for information to our speakers, you can directly share your content on the share screen to make it simpler for you. So ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving on to our second speaker, Dr. Muhammad Rizki Primasakti. Dr. Rizki is an associate professor at the Department of Business Administration, University College Bahrain, UCB. Previously, he served International Institute of Advanced Islamic Studies, Malaysia, as a research consultant and the Department of Economic Finance, Zakat and Waqf. During his PhD program, he completed a research fellowship at University of Tsukuba, Japan. He also served as a research consultant at Islamic Research and Training Institute, IRTI, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And besides, he is a senior researcher at FID, Islamic Economics Forum for Indonesia Development, Indonesia. So, Dr. Rizki, you may please have the floor.
Right. Thank you very much, Ms. Maya, for your time and invitations, being a speaker in this level international webinar, and my voice.
Yeah. We can hear your voice clearly.
Okay. Honorable Dr. Atiqi, the head of the STES Islamic Village, the all respective speaker, Professor Fuada Johari, Dr. Aliu, Dr. Iman Sastra, then all the respective participants, ladies and gentlemen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And good afternoon to all participants in Indonesia, Malaysia, and good morning for those in the GCC countries. So I'd like to share my presentations about the art of Islamic business and finance in the time of the COVID-19, during and after the COVID-19, the Bahrain experience. Wait a minute. Okay. Right. Okay. Is it appear on your screen, Ms. Maya? Yes? Okay. Okay. So the title for my presentations, because I only have presentation only 15 minutes, the art of Islamic business and finance during and after the pandemic Bahrain experience. The first of all, just give you a glimpse about a small country in the Arabian Peninsula, Bahrain. You see here, this is the map of the GCC country, where it consists of the 6 countries: Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Dubai, and Oman. And Bahrain is a small, tiny, surrounding the GCC countries, right? Like the other GCC country, Bahrain economy is pretty much rely on oil and gas industry, and it is also diversified economy into the financial services sector, manufacturing, tourism, and retail industry. As you might know, Bahrain is a home for regulatory bodies, especially when it comes to Islamic economics and the financial sector. It is a home for AFE, the accounting an outstanding star organization for Islamic financial institutions. It is a home for CBAFI. It's a home for IRA and IFFM. And I can say that the Kingdom of Bahrain, they diversified their economy from oil and gas since the mid-1990s to financial services sector, just like the other GCC countries. And when the pandemic came in the early 2020, it has hit hard the economy. Yes, undoubtedly, many businesses have been disrupted here in the kingdom. The small, medium enterprises, particularly, they were shut down. The business, they halt their businesses. People, they lost their job. All right, and we cannot escape that Islamic businesses, Islamic corporations, and Islamic finance they also got impacted from this pandemic. Yeah. So inshallah, today we share the Bahrain experience, how they alleviate the problem of the pandemic and how Islamic banking sector particularly can help the current pandemic. Yeah. So you say that in most cases, the whole industry have been impacted differently with a different rate. But in general, the impact of pandemic it has been worse, particularly when it comes to the GCC country. The impact will be becomes shrink and worse because of the slump of the oil prices, right? So things like this need to be cushioned by the government to shoulder the impact of this current pandemic and also the collapse of oil prices. Yeah, I just give you a quick overview about the latest data or latest statistic of the Bahrain COVID-19 statistic. All country all around the world has hit hard by the pandemic. For your information, Bahrain is just a small country. The population is 1.6 million or 1.7 million people. I think the regency of Tangerang in Indonesia or Jakarta population is much more greater than the size of the Bahrain, the whole populations. It's just 1.6 or 1.7 million people, and more than half are expatriate. Yeah, more than 60% are expatriate, and the rest are Bahraini. Yeah. So the first case was traced back in the late February 2020. Up to now, there are more than 40,000 cases in Bahrain. Yeah, more than 40,000 cases, and it's still unfolding. The number of fatalities until the early of August, it reached 156. I think yesterday the government just updated it up to 159 cases of fatality, number of death rate. Yeah. If you look at the number of cases over the time, the average cases in Bahrain, I can say that particularly after the Eid al-Fitr, when the government start to relaxing the lockdown, the average cases it reached 100 to 400 cases per day. So you can imagine the small country with average cases 300 to 400 cases per day. So we are far more than lowering or reducing the rate of that pandemic cases in Bahrain. Fortunately, there is a sum of good news in Bahrain. As I said before, the number of population is 1.6 or 1.7 million, but the number of tests of COVID-19 conducted in Bahrain, it is more than 800,000 COVID-19 testing, which means that more than half, almost half the Bahraini populations were tested by COVID-19. Yeah. When it comes to the rate of the fatality, yeah, if we compare the Bahrain fatality against the worldwide fatality, it's a pretty much lower. Yeah, out of 156, we get a rate of the 0.36%, whereas the worldwide cases, the number of deaths, it reached more than 700,000 people died. Yeah, and another good thing, the recovery rate in Bahrain is also one of the highest in the region. Yeah, I think also another country like Oman, Qatar, Saudi also has a good rate. But in Bahrain, yeah, you see here the data, the number of the people recover from COVID-19 are close to 440,000 people out of 42,000 positive cases. On top of that, 93% people were recovered, whereas the worldwide recovery rate is just 60%. Yeah. Yes, we have still a high number of the average daily cases in COVID-19, but in terms of the number of tests conducted is almost half. Yeah, because every day the government is ramp up the testing of COVID-19, and the rate of recovery is still at the maintaining level. You can say that. Yeah. Now, just another snapshot about the information when it comes to Islamic banking and finance in Bahrain. Yeah, the kingdom is one of the earliest countries who adopt Islamic banking system in the world. Yeah, the first bank was started back in the late 1970s. 1979, the first BISB Bahrain Islamic Bank was launched, and up to now, if you look at the market share of Islamic Bank, fortunately, it's 15.5%. Yeah, as mentioned before, Bahrain is the first spread economy into the financial services sector, but in terms of the rate of Islamic banking and finance, it's 15.5%. Yeah, can name some of the bank like Bahrain Islamic Bank, Al Barakah Bank, KFH, Kuwait Finance Houses, GFA Gulf Finance House, so on and so forth. Is some of the giant Islamic bank concentrated or situated in Bahrain. Unfortunately, when it comes to the specific ratio of the banking sector here, the non-performing financing or non-performing loan in conventional is quite high. Yeah, the rate I think was slightly increased from 2018. It was 11.3% of NPF of Islamic bank in Bahrain. It's not a good news, of course, for the Islamic banking players here, as the current pandemic and double with the high NPF, it will be accelerated later on the problem of the credit risk. Yeah, we cannot deny that. And if we come to the profitability level, it's maintained at stable level at a 0.3%. Yeah, the capital adequacy ratio was 17% in 2019. It was declined also again 2018. Yeah, but some of the good news in Bahrain is it come in terms of the fintech. Yeah, you know, Bahrain, they wanted to be a champion in terms of the fintech in the region. So the past few years, the kingdom has launched the Bahrain Fintech Day, which is an institutions to elevate the adoption of fintech among the corporations, among the Islamic firm and Islamic banking institution in the kingdom. Yeah, which is also has the partnership with the Georgetown Washington University in US, and many initiatives had taken by the Islamic Bank here in the region. You know, when it comes to the Islamic Bank, I can say that most of the case, the Islamic Bank, they try to replicating the conventional bank, yes. But when it comes to the technology or digital, I think it is something that Bahrain can be proud of, because the BISB, I can name it, the Bahrain Islamic Bank, it is the first Islamic bank in the regions that adopted digital banking. Yes, and after that, the conventional, they start to replicating what the BISB has been done thus far. Yeah, and now they're opening out the account with credit card facilities. All of them we do digital, right? So that is okay, something that we can proud out of Islamic banking in terms of it comes to the technology, come of digitalization. Yeah, so some of the snapshot about Islamic banking and finance in the kingdom. Yeah. Yeah, just like other countries in the world where the regulator and the government had taken various actions to shield or to mitigate the impact of the pandemic. Yeah, Bahrain is one of the country in the region, in the GCC, where applied the partial lockdown. Unlike other neighboring country like Kuwait or Saudi, there is a curfew. I think Oman also has a curfew, but in Bahrain, as far as no curfew. 10 days compulsory guarantee from those who come outside Bahrain. Yeah. Also for Bahraini and resident of Bahrain, 10 days compulsory guarantee. And now you have to shoulder the cost of 60 Bahraini dinar. Yeah, which is I think equivalent it around 3 million Indonesian rupiah. Suspending flight, but now it's stopped to opening. Until now, the Department of Islamic Affairs Wakaf in Bahrain, still suspend prayer in mosque. Yeah, so we can still cannot pray in a mosque right now. Yeah. Yes, wearing fast massive compulsory here in the kingdom. Yeah, if you violate all of these initiative taken by the government, there is a fee of penalties. Yeah, but the good thing is, yeah, the Bahraini and Bahrain's residents, most of the case they follow whatever the instruction given by the government. Yeah, because whatever the kingdom's founded initiative, the people start to follow it, and that is why you see here the number of cases, but although it's increasing, but the recovery rate is quite good, and that's why they cannot apply the full lockdown. They do not apply the full lockdown. They do not apply the curfew, because one of the people in Bahrain, they are adopting whatever the government's initiative allows to combat the COVID. Now, when it comes to the economic stimulus or the economic relief to combating the impact of COVID, Bahrain is one of the greatest, has launched the greatest stimulus package up to 4.3 billion Bahraini dinar, or equivalent to 11.4 billion US dollar, which is equivalent to almost 30% of Bahrain's GDP. Yeah. So I can say that, as you see, there's the data announced by the Fit Solution 2020. In terms of the percentage of GDP, the economic stimulus package launched by the Bahrain's government as the highest in the region, almost 30%. Yeah, and some of them is launched for the liquidity support to the bankings, yeah, to shoulder the salaries for the Bahraini private sectors. For your information, yeah, because the SME has hit hard by the pandemic, they cannot pay the salary of their staff. So 50% of their salary will be shouldered by the governments. The government also shoulder the electricity costs for 3 months, and I think now they also extended for another 3 months. Yeah, so all on top of that, these economic stimulus packages, up to 30% of the Bahraini GDP is allowed to combating the impact of the COVID-19 in the kingdom. Now, I come to the learn during the pandemic. What we can learn from Bahrain? Yeah, undeniably, all businesses, regardless if it's the conventional business or Islamic businesses, has hit hard by the pandemic. Yeah, but the initiative taken by His Royal Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Al Khalifa, the ruler, the king of Bahrain, launched a dozen of initiatives to combat the impact. One of them to alleviate the impact with regard to the SMEs, small medium enterprises, and also the corporation. So in the late April 2020, the Bahrain Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism had launched Mall.bh. Yeah, it is a virtual mall to support businesses during the pandemic times. Yeah, it is particularly when the early stage of the pandemic comes. I think now it's all the countries start to recover because they are now opening the economy. Yes, but at the early stage, it have a lot that the businesses. And it is initiative launched by the government. So the government, they create a portal where the SMEs, the corporation, they can trade, they can buy and selling all kind of their product, food and beverages, services, retail, beauty, pharmaceutical, so on and so forth. They're creating the electronic sales and purchasing for all commercial store in Bahrain. Yeah, so that this is now they change their way of doing business here. Online business now become the primary method of business, while the face-to-face business, or traditional, now turn to secondary. The thanks to initiative launched by the Sheikh Hamad Al Khalifa, the ruler of the Bahrain. With regard to the labor sector in Bahrain, yeah, we cannot deny that many people lost their job. Yeah, neither it is the conventional business or Islamic businesses, especially the SME, yeah, either Bahraini or the foreigner. Many that lost the job because of the pandemic, because the pandemic has shut down their business, halt the operation at the early stage. The people cannot go to work, and as a result, they have to stop, lay off the staff. So how to combat this impact? The Labor Market Regulatory Authority, or LMRA has launched the talentportal.bh. Yeah? Again, it is launched by the governments, yeah, with the help of the corporation. So here in Bahrain, both the government sector and private sector, they hand to hand to help the Bahraini businesses and expatriates also to find out the solution to combat the COVID-19. When it comes to job seeker who are fired or lost the job of the COVID-19. So this portal, they can connect, yeah, both Bahraini and non-Bahraini, yeah, and private sector in the kingdom, okay? So they can get hired by the top employer. It's just simply, it's very easy. You get sign in, register your account and drop your CV, yeah? And within a short period of time, yeah, the kingdom, the corporation, the private sector of the kingdom, they will have searching, they match with your qualification, you can get hired by the corporation. Yeah. So again, that talentportal.bh launched by the LMRA, Labor Market Regulatory Authority, with the help of the STC. STC is one of the giant telecommunication company here in GCC. It is, I think, Saudi based and also operate in Bahrain. They launched the talentportal.bh, yeah, to cushion the impact of COVID-19 in terms of the job sector. And again, it also elevates the development of digital transformation in the kingdom. Yeah, so we can say now digital become the primary. Yeah, thanks to COVID. And so we can take some of the good news, some of learn because of that COVID-19. When it comes to the social finance, yeah, now it's come to the rule of the campaign or social initiative taken by the government. We call here is the Fina Khair. Yeah, Fina Khair is a social activity, it's donation activity initiated by the governments to combat the impact of COVID-19. And many Islamic banking and Islamic corporation in the kingdom had pledged to Fina Khair campaign. Yeah, as part of they donate the zakat fund. They say here the Kuwait Finance House, BISB, BBK Bank. Yeah, and we have the summer pool of fund. We call is the Fina Khair. Yeah, in order to combat the impact of the pandemic. Yeah. Now, another impact, yeah, we cannot deny also the COVID-19 has hit hard the stock indices, including the Islamic stock indices in Bahrain. Looking at that figure, yeah, the COVID-19 has shaken a lot of Islamic indices. The Islamic indices of S&P Bahrain Sharia Index fell down more than 30%. Yeah, it's the data up to May 2020 from the Thomson Reuters. And at the early stage, yeah, it had hit hard, but now it's start to rebound. Yeah? But yes, that COVID-19 has impacted the Bahrain Islamic stock market. Now, what are the responses? How to take actions? Yeah, as mentioned, some of them I mentioned before. Yeah, like other countries taking, and also I think the initiative launched by the World Bank, the IMF, the government had rescheduling a loan or the financing. Moratorium of the loan or the financing. Then on we see it has an impact with regard to the Islamic financing. Yeah, CBB, the Central Bank of Bahrain, they had reduced the RR reserve requirement from 5% to 3%. The government also provided relief packages for their customer, cutting down the lending rate from 4% to 2.5% in order to boost the loan facilities for the business in order to expand. Pay electricity costs for over 3 months and pay 50% of the salary of the private sector in Bahrain. Now, I come to after the pandemic. What will be the art of Islamic business and finance after the COVID-19 will be look like? Yeah, I believe that there is always a room for improvement. Yeah, so some of the sector, they have an opportunity to grow. Yeah, name, for example, the healthcare products, agriculture, technology, and halal industry. Yeah, we can say the healthcare product now is like wearing masks compulsory, the hospital bed, ventilators, glove, personal equipments, as hand sanitizer, things like this are surrounding us nowadays. Yes, so that it provide a room, yeah, for the Islamic banking and financial corporations and how to financing this sector, the healthcare product. agriculture would also open a door to grow, yeah, after the COVID, because you know the importance of the food security, especially when come to Bahrain. No, unlike Indonesia and Malaysia, we don't have a rice field in Bahrain. Yeah, all of the food is imported from the other countries, yeah, from India, from Thailand, from Jordan, and agri has now become paramount importance. Yeah. Another thing, people start to want healthy lifestyle. Yeah. Consume the herbal, more vitamin C, supplements. I think like the agriculture product is open and grow also. Of course, the third thing is technology. What we are doing now, using a digital technology, using a Zoom, a Microsoft Teams, a Blackboard, digital learning, digital teaching, e-businesses, e-commerce, blockchain, artificial intelligence, right? So it's now a growing importance. So Islamic banking and businesses in Bahrain, not only in Bahrain, also in other countries, they start to how to grow these potential sectors. Last but not least, the halal sector or halal industry. As mentioned before, nowadays people, they are more health conscious. Yeah, more well to how to become healthy, wash your hand regularly, and start to consume the healthy food, halal food. Stay away from the exotic product. Yes.
Yeah, you still have another 5 minutes. I just remind
Okay.
you.
Okay, I have a 5-minute time. Okay, let me highlight the more important thing. So the halal food is precisely that expected to rise. The same have the opportunity to grow after the COVID-19. Yeah. And for Islamic finance, the COVID-19 opened the door for Islamic finance to shift from debt-based financing to equity-based financing. Thanks for the existence of the fintech, financial technology. And now it can be ramped up the process, yeah, to shift from debt-based financing to more equity-based financing using a musyarakah mudharabah. Shift from a risk-free financing to more risk-sharing financing mode. It has been launched in Bahrain, where I mentioned before, Bahrain FinTech Bay, and some of the initiative Algo company were taken by the consortium of Islamic Bank in the kingdom. BISB, something that we can proud of here in the kingdom, where is the we can say the leader in terms of the digitalization in Islamic Bank here. Yeah, and because of that pandemic, the application of digital money. In Bahrain, we have the benefit pay. Indonesia, like GoPay or OVO Pay, B Wallet, it's now become everywhere. Yeah, so it is in line also with the government aspiration to becoming a fintech hub in the region. Yeah, so yes, after the COVID, it provides opportunity for more adoption of fintech, and Islamic social finance can also make a differences through zakat, waqf, sadaqah, qardul hasan, in way to alleviate the household, SMEs, and businesses, accelerating more social responsible investing through the use of the green sukuk. Yeah, and nowadays the stakeholder are more pay a greater attention to ESG, environmental. So green sukuk can play a pivotal role in various development infrastructure projects. Islamic Bank and corporation can also jointly set up Wakaf Fund to support their family and businesses where they're affected by the COVID-19. Yeah. Last but not least, let presentations with that concluding remark. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic is still unfolding. It is expected the world post-COVID will be a different world. But it is expected that related Islamic banking finance, yes, it will experience a lower than expected growth. Some of the opportunity post-COVID-19, like healthcare product, agriculture, technology, and halal industry, Islamic bank in the country can jointly set up a Wakaf Fund to support the business that hit hard by the pandemic, and it needs to ensure the continuity of the business in this difficult time. With that, I stop here. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, thank you so much to Dr. Rizky. It's been a very insightful presentation from you. Some words I can underline from the presentations is the COVID-19 pandemic is still unfolding, and it's expected that the affiliated industry like Islamic banking and finance will experience lower than expected growth. But we can still support business with relaxed working capital terms and financing terms to ensure continuity of the business in these difficult times. Once again, thank you very much to Dr. Prima Sakti, Dr. Rizky Prima Sakti, and to all participants. Once again, please go check out our comment box on YouTube streaming, and you'll find out the link to ask questions in Q&A session. Thank you for that. Now we're moving on the third speaker, to Dr. Aliyu Dahir Muhammad. Dr. Aliyu Dahir Muhammad is a senior lecturer at the International Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance of Department of Economic, Bayero University, Nigeria. Dr. Aliyu Muhammad received his master and PhD in economics from the International Islamic University, Malaysia. His research interests include Islamic microfinance and poverty reduction, and he received the Faculty of Economic Best Student Award for Doctor of Economics in November 2013. He received a gold medal at IUM Research, Invention and Innovation Exhibition 2013 for his thesis entitled Challenges of Microfinance and a Prospect of Developing and Introducing an Islamic Microinvestment Model in Nigeria. So without further ado, please I'd like to welcome Dr. Aliyu.
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you very much to the moderator, Mrs. Maya. I thank the organizers for inviting me to this important webinar. I'm very glad to be part of both the participants and the speakers. Inshallah, in the next 20 minutes, I will try to share the Nigeria's experience. Before then, I wish to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh once again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sister? Okay, thank you. So let me try to share my slides before I continue. Okay. Can you see the slide? Is the slide visible for you, please? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the Nigeria's experience, Islamic Business and Finance during and post-COVID-19 experience, that's the title. The outline of the presentation include the background, Nigeria's economy, pre-COVID-19 situation, the impact of or during COVID-19 on the economy and the society, and some predictions, so to say, and the lessons learned as well as conclusion. Yeah, okay, this is also the similar outline. Let me go straight. For those who do not know, Nigeria is in the West Africa, bordering with Chad, Cameroon, Benin Republic, and Niger. You can see it's a very big country with 36 states, plus the capital, Abuja. Okay, Nigeria got independence in 1960, few years after countries like Malaysia. Now, the background, Nigeria is the largest economy in the West Africa with a GDP as of 2019 of $410 billion, putting it the largest in the African continent after South Africa and Egypt. It is also the largest populated country with about 200 or over 200 million people, with at least 55% of this population being Muslims. Nigeria is a lower middle income country, according to the World Bank, with 90% of its foreign exchange earnings. That is during the pandemic, it faces the severe effect on COVID-19. The country's budget in 2020 was estimated with the oil price of oil barrel at $57, which that was before the COVID-19, but then it has to be adjusted to reflect the reality of $30 per barrel due to the shock. And the economy, according to the World Bank, faces the worst recession in 4 decades. Okay, The World Bank reported that in its report, Nigeria, in terms of COVID-19, laying the foundation, strong recovery, estimate that Nigeria's economy will likely contract by 3.2% in 2020. Before the COVID-19, the economy was expected to grow by 2.1%, which means that the pandemic has led to a decrease by more than 5 percentage points. The shock alone is projected to push about 5 million Nigerians into poverty. This is also released by the World Bank. According to the director, World Bank director in Nigeria, he says, and I quote, just perhaps it may make provide some background. While the long-term economic impact of the global pandemic is uncertain, the effectiveness of the government response is very important to determine the speed, quality, and sustainability. So let me just adjust this. I cannot see the last point. Nigeria, to determine the speed, quality, and sustainability of Nigeria's economic recovery, besides immediate effort to contain the spread of COVID-19 and stimulate the economy, it will be even more urgent to address bottlenecks that hinder the productivity of the economy and job creation. The business and financial sectors were relatively stable before the COVID-19. The economy, you can see even the projection, the economy is projected to grow by 3.2%. The economy is, however, dominated by large size of informal sector. The Islamic banking and finance, Islamic business and finance are still at infancy stage, with the first full-fledged Islamic bank barely a decade now. So it began operation in 2012, much later than countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, that have, especially Malaysia, who has about over 40 years experience. Islamic banking and finance are still, as Akia mentioned this, the COVID-19, the first case we had was on 27th March, actually, that we got the one Italian person that came to Nigeria through Lagos, who carried the coronavirus. And since then, the country started, even before that, the country started to take measure on this case, on the COVID-19. You can see as at today, we have a total confirmed cases of 45,244. I mean, as on 6th August, and discharged 32,430, and you have the death rate, total of 930. This is fairly, I don't want to say okay because it involves deaths, but when you compare with some countries, you see that the death rate is not, it's basically below 1.5% rate, death rate. So the lockdown began in April. The closure of borders, schools, ministries, banks. Of course, it depends on the, I told you about 37 states. Some adopted partial lockdown and others adopted total complete lockdown, such as Lagos, Oyo and Abuja. That was the state that began with the complete lockdown, and then other states followed. This affected health sector negatively, coping with the COVID-19 as a new case, and then with other diseases already that are in the society. The medical advices such as hand wash, social distancing were advised, and people have followed fairly, you can see. Perhaps that reduces the spread of the virus. The government began to seek support because at that time, I told you the oil price dropped significantly, and the government relies heavily on the oil revenue. So and then the number one, there is no market for the oil itself. Number two, the revenue, the price has declined drastically. So then the government has no much revenue to cope with the situation. So government has to embark on take some measures, including borrowings from international financial agencies also calling for private sector to donate generously and so that to cope the situation. The health sector was not ready for such a huge tax and attention. There was a lot of prediction that if this disease, you know, the disease started from China and then going to Europe and then Asia and then Africa. So it didn't even start in Africa. It didn't start in Nigeria. It just came much later, almost 2 months away after it, the first case in Wuhan city. So perhaps people were, if this disease started in countries like Nigeria, we don't know how the government and the people could cope with the situation because it's very, killer disease and it requires a lot of preparation, a lot of resources, a lot of effort. And if these resources are not very much available, then it will make a lot of damages. So the businesses were adversely affected, certainly, just like in any other countries. I'm happy with all the previous presentations. They made a case, and that is the same with Nigeria. There are a lot of loss of jobs, income, loss of capital, means of livelihood by millions of Nigerians. And you know, I already told you the low middle income and even the poverty rate, if is more than 50% poverty in the country. So, and then now you have this lockdown, and then it affects the businesses and the household earner. There is a study by National Bureau of Statistics. It conducted a survey, one pre-COVID-19 and then one during the COVID-19. So 2019 and 2020, this study, the first one called General Household Survey 2019. It had a sample of 4,950 samples. And then it has another one, National Longitudinal Fund Survey, with about 1,820 samples in April to June 2020. So what is the result? They actually look at the household and businesses. How does COVID-19 affect their businesses and their income, their food security and what have you? The first table I have is on food security or food insecurity experience with regard to general household survey. They were asked in 2019, are you secured? Do you have a food security or food insecurity? And then there is another one during the COVID-19. So you can see the blue color showing that the moderate or severe food is insecurity, and then the pink color shows severe food security. You can see the blue is very high in August 2018, and then in January 2019 it's 37%, and then in June 2020 it is 76%, meaning that people need the food or feel insecure as far as food provision is concerned. And then the pink color in 2018, they reported 11%. In February 2019, 1 year later, they reported 5.9%. Those that were contacted, 5.9%. But in June 2020, 30.3% say they are having severe food insecurity. So if there is any area that looks intervention, it's basically food insecurity at that moment. There is a change in business revenue also, where when they were asked about, do you have change in business revenue, the household reported that in May, April, they say, or April, May compared to mid-March, 23% they say they don't have any changes. 57% they say they have less changes, and 8.3% they have same business revenue, and 10.5% they reported higher business revenue. In June 2020, they said that 7.9% they say they didn't experience any changes, and then 47.8 they say that it's less changes, and 15.5 say the same, and then you got 28.8 they say higher revenue. So these are some statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics. Then you got another table on non-farm enterprises and COVID-19. because Nigeria is largely, the people, over 60% are employed in the agricultural sector. So if you want to see some impact on businesses, perhaps you have to separate agriculture from non-agriculture. So this is on non-agriculture, it's on non-farm enterprises. The questions were asked, do you have difficulty buying and receiving supplies and input? You can see the color, rural, urban, and all. In the rural area is the gray color, in the urban area is the pink color and blue color showing all. They say that they have difficulty for the first one, and let me take all, just so for the purpose of saving time. The blue color, they say they have difficulty over 78%. They were asked also, they have difficulty raising money for the business, over 85%. And then difficulty repay loans and other debt obligations, you can see over 63%. Difficulty in pay rent for business location, over 48%. Difficulty paying workers, 30%. And then difficulty selling goods or services to customers, about 68%. Have changed or plan to change business, how business is conducted, about 38%. So this is also important data to show you the condition of businesses during the COVID-19. Now, the other income sources in the last 12 months they were asked, they say that there is remittance from abroad, 3.5%. Just check the June, just to see the June, 3.6%. And then remittances from family within the country, 17%. Assistance from non-family individuals, 25.9%. I'm very interested about this assistance because it shows a lot of interventions that are coming from philanthropic sector. Dr. Faada and Brother Muhammad Rizki have talked about the role of Zakah, the role of Waqaf, Qard Hassan, and other products. And I think in Nigeria it's also the same. There are a lot of philanthropic activities in relation to this COVID-19. In fact, there are individuals donating billions of naira. I know one person, the name of Abdul Samad, who come from Kano State. He donated 7 billion naira to fight COVID-19. This is a huge amount of money, just converted to 380 naira per dollar. The income from properties and investment system person. Okay, let me move to the next. The major players of Islamic banking and finance, as I mentioned, are still a handful of less than 15. You've got now you've got 2 full-fledged Islamic banks, and then you have some windows. Thailand Bank, they have window. They have there is also Zenith Bank also coming. There are some Islamic microfinance bank. There are takaful companies. Most of them are new actually, of less than 10 years. COVID-19 lowers their business profitability, certainly. We conducted an interview with some managers about the impact. We couldn't get some real data, but certainly we got the confirmation from the managers about the business profitability become low. There's also excess liquidity challenge because during the period, they cannot invest their money in haram activities, just like in any other country, Muslim countries that are adopting Islamic finance. So there is excess liquidity. There is increased default rate by retailers with existing financing because the lockdown and all these problems make people to lose their income. Some lose their jobs. So they cannot even repay back their loan. There is such problem. There is also unbalanced sharing of stimuli packages to Islamic businesses because of the dominant interest rate system in the country. But the CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, now recently come up with non-interest packages for all intervention. Previously, what is obtainable in Nigeria is that you got it's dual banking system, and the Islamic banking is new in this country, but it doesn't get actually a support, a level playing ground. It's not the same. So therefore, the packages given to conventional bank are not given to Islamic bank in terms of support, the regulation and what have you. So recently, the CBN approved 11 interventions for with what is called non-interest banking. In Nigeria, it's called that, but actually it means Islamic banking. But that has not started also, so that to change the direction of the businesses that are collapsing. There are some predictions that I may make. Of course, Islamic businesses and finance are very likely to grow in Nigeria due to the population, and also there is need a friendly regulatory environment is going to play a key role in Islamic business and finance. Awareness is very key as far as this situation is concerned. Some lessons learned can be like my brother, Dr. Muhammad Rizki, has mentioned the health sector. In Nigeria, the health sector was neglected, and that has exposed the COVID-19 exposed the situation. Previously, the government, the officials, the rich people, when they have any problem, they can just take a flight around to UK, US, and all those countries for treatment. But the lockdown necessitated them to stay at home. So the health sector was become overwhelmed, and then the equipment were not there actually to support the people. The role of philanthropy as a third sector has also been shown. Therefore, it's really very important to identify, to target and support the philanthropy, particularly Zakah and Waqf. Most of the interventions, including the one to the Islamic banks, they may not reach out to the very poor people. But philanthropy or Zakat, Waqf, Qard al-Hasan can reach out to the bottom 40% because of the flexibility, because of the easy going in terms of applying them. Over-reliance on one sector is very dangerous. Nigeria relies for quite some time on oil revenue. Now the oil was hit by the COVID-19, and then we now realize our mistake. And the government now, the intervention I mentioned earlier, 3.2 billion naira, mentioned by the central bank governor, was meant to reposition and restructure the Nigeria's economy, so that also to diversify it, so that to reduce the heavy reliance on oil. The infrastructure was shallow, unlike in countries like Bahrain, in Malaysia, Indonesia, where you can all continue conducting your businesses online. We really don't have that privilege as you have. So it is high time for the government to invest in the infrastructure, the technology. Since this is new normal, so we have to take it as an opportunity to change the business landscape so as to promote the economy and the people. The agricultural development is very paramount for food security. I'm very happy the government, out of the intervention the government is providing, there is quite attention given to agriculture. That's very good. In fact, even before the closure, before the COVID-19, there was a government policy which was good of stopping, importing rice from Thailand and other countries, because it's really taking a lot of our revenue, foreign currency. So government made a policy, and then it locked. They say you have to produce what you need to eat. And alhamdulillah, it was not easy, but with time, it created a lot of business opportunities for farmers in the rural areas and even in the urban areas in terms of processing and production of rice. And alhamdulillah, I'm happy to say that now Nigeria can even soon will begin to import rice. But I think we need to have a very balanced way of sharing whatever is produced, because still there are many millions of people without food in the country, even though there is rice production and what have you. So the conclusion is that there is the huge population of Muslims could simply be used to achieve financial inclusion using Islamic finance. Nigeria, under the Securities and Exchange Commission, it stated that it wants to, change increase the percentage of Islamic finance Islamic capital market to 25% by the year 2025. So, but then there is not much supportive policy so to do that. And also the CBN want to reduce the financial exclusion. So how do you do that? You have to, integrate all the people, even though Muslims are a majority, but sometimes the government policy does not favor them. So it's high time, and alhamdulillah, people have been writing, and the government is now listening to Muslims and also making some policies to do that. The recent third tranche of sovereign scope, Nigeria, I told you, is latecomer in this area, even though we started much earlier, way back. I don't want to go back to history, but way back we have that history, but it didn't actualize. It was there in the constitution, the Prophet Allah sharing and what have you, but in terms of implementation, it's coming very late. So the first sukuk issued was in 2017, 100 billion naira, which was oversubscribed. The second one, also 100 billion in 2018, also oversubscribed. And then recently, the third sukuk was issued during the COVID-19, and can you imagine the percentage increase oversubscribed by 446%? What does that tell? It tells you that there are a lot of potentials in this sector. So I think the government is now understanding that it's not about religion. It's about also the economy and the people. Make the people comfortable so that they have their life to follow their faith and at the same time do their business within the halal area. Even this clearly suggests the quest for Islamic investment option. The Islamic business and finance have huge potentials in addressing societal problems while attracting financial rewards. The government should enhance the business environment and enact appropriate laws to support its smooth growth. COVID-19 offers opportunity for exploring Islamic social finance vis-a-vis zakat, waqf, and qard hasan. This is also one area. So far, at the moment, unlike countries in the Middle East and Asia, we don't have national zakat body from the government. What we have is under every state, we have 36 states, 19 states in the northern part, and in them there are about 12 states that implemented Sharia as in those states. So they now introduce zakat and waqf commissions, bodies, or agencies. And then you've got in those states where there are Muslim majority or Muslims, significant size of Muslim, they now come up with zakat, waqf in form of non-governmental organization. And then you have other areas also, they have zakat and waqf under emirates, under emirs of those regions or districts. So this is how we practice zakat. So at the moment we are trying to unite those zakat and waqf. We have formed an association of zakat and waqf operators in Nigeria with the chairman of Alhaji Muhammad Al-Maidoki, the executive chairman of Sokoto State Zakat and Endowment Commission. And then we are trying to reposition zakat to take its rightful position in the country. And therefore, this needs a lot of support from the sector. During the COVID-19, had it been to say, even the government utilizes the zakat and waqf agencies, it will be achieve more than the usual, the normal way it uses, using political parameters to distribute the interventions of COVID-19. With this, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm ready for any question or comments so that to improve the work. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Aliu. It's such an inspiring presentation to our participants, and it's good for our participants to have a preview of insight and how your country deal with the pandemic COVID-19. Once again, thank you very much. So before I continue to the next speaker, to all participants, I'd like to encourage you to share today's webinar with your social media, and you can simply take a screenshot of this webinar session and then share it on your Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook account. Thank you for that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now may I call out for our fourth speaker, candidate Dr. Umi Wahida, and I'd like to introduce her briefly. Umi Wahida is an Islamic social finance expert and also a director of Nurul Iman Ashariah Islamic Boarding School, Indonesia. She got her master degree of communication at London School of Public Relations, Jakarta, and now she continues a doctoral degree in program Dr. Ilmu Al-Quran dan Tafsir PT IKI Jakarta, Indonesia. So Umi Wahida, you may please have the floor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you listen to me? You can hear me, right? Okay, thank you so much. I may be the last one, but I'm not the least. Alhamdulillah, I've listened to all the other speakers. And thank you so much, Dr. Atiqi from Islamic Village, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my experience. Actually, I'm not that called the social finance or Islamic social finance expert, but Alhamdulillah, thank you so much for the title given to me. Because you see, I run this Islamic boarding school. It's about 15,000 students from early childhood education to university. And everything is free from food, accommodation, health benefits, as well as education. And we started this Islamic boarding school free of charge, everything from 1998 until now. And Alhamdulillah, we are still surviving. I got the experience from my late husband. In 2010, my husband, before he passed away, he told me that, Wahid, you're going to take care of this school. And for you to be able to be independent, sustainable, and resilient, you have to do 3 things when you have money. I want to share can I share my slides?
Yes, please. You want to directly share your content or the operator will share it?
I already.
What? So for the operator, please share the content of candidate Dr. Umi Wahida, please. Lagi di jalan. Oh, saya.
Okay, while I wait for my slides, I would just like to introduce how with having to feed and provide food, accommodation for 15,000 children, everything free, until when they get married also. So all the orphans, when they finish, they graduated from the honors degree, university degree, I matchmake them and I get them married, and then I will send them back to their homelands, to their villages, where they will inshallah open free school like the one in Al-Asriyah Nurul Iman Islamic Boarding School in Parung, Bogor, West Java, Indonesia. So my husband, 1 week before he felt sick, he told me that, Wahid, I'm going to die on a Friday at 9 in the morning, and you will take care of this school. You will feed these 15,000 children, and I want until Kiamat, this school must be free everything. Because whatever wealth we have, the most important wealth is the future of the world is in this young generation, in these young Muslim children. Because whatever wealth we have, like Indonesia is such a rich country. We have everything. We have coal, we have minerals, we have gold, we have water, we have beautiful sceneries, we have mountains, everything we have. But we don't appreciate the human resources, and that is the most important thing. You know why I said that? Because I was born and raised in Singapore. I was a Singaporean, and I got married to my late husband, and I became Indonesian and have 7 children, and now I already have 11 grandchildren, and I enjoy my life being what you call a social entrepreneur. And how do I support these 15,000 children from 98 until now, 220, and before and now during the pandemic, when everything, all the big businesses, all crashing down, most of them are closing shop, most of them declare bankrupt. Singapore, South Korea, German, American, all going into recession. And how am I, a woman, still taking care of these 15,000 children? And Alhamdulillah, they're still surviving. We are still independent, sustainable, and inshallah resilient. The secret is that when my husband said that when you take care of such a big social institution, you have to do three things when you have money. So I may not know what's happening with the macroeconomics or the microeconomics or the zakat or the ziswap or whatever, but the main thing is that when you have money, even for yourself, even for your own family, or even for myself, 15,000 children, I do three things. That's what my husband told me to do. The first thing is that when you have money, you have to have a savings. So 1/3 of your money, of your cash flow, of your income, 1/3 of that you have to save. And how do you save? Save through the money we buy gold bullions or gold bars. That's it's our saving. We don't keep our savings in US dollar or Singapore dollar, even though I'm a Singaporean. So my slide, sorry. Yes, this is my slide. This is my school, and you can see the mosque. Can we go back from, I'm sorry.
Is it? The previous. Sorry, Umi.
Thank you so much. You know, I'm the last one and I got so...
Umi, maybe you have muted your voice.
Already. Thank you. Please, slide before. Okay, when we have money, we have cash flow, we have income, we just have to do three things. 1/3 is to keep the money in gold bullions, gold bars. That's for the saving. 1/3 of the money should be kept or should be spent on operational purposes. Like for me, I have to pay the salaries of the teachers. I have to pay the bills, the electric bills, the water bills, and I have to buy rice, 7 tons of rice every day to feed the 15,000 children. And then I use about 1.5 tons of coal to cook the 7 tons of rice. That is for operational, 1/3 for operational, and 1/3 is for investment. We buy land, like I have factories, bread factories, I have drinking water factories. 1/3 of that is for investment, to buy land or to buy machines for my factories. And that's what I've been doing since my husband passed away in 2010. This is our 10th year where myself, my children, and the staff is running the school. We have 25,000, we have 25 hectares of land in the school itself, and then we have 200 hectares of rice fields. I cannot move the slide.
Umi can move the slide.
Okay, this is the slide. The most important thing, wherever you are, whenever you are, for any humans, the basic needs is very important. So my business is in few. So to support the free and quality education, I have 45 business units. And the 45 business units is focused in few. What is few? Food, energy, water, and waste. These are my businesses. I have rice fields, I have rice mills, I have bread factory, I have all the food that I need to feed the 15,000 students, so I don't have to buy. And I can sell the leftovers or the spill off from the 45 business units. And I have energy. I use biogas, the organic waste from my cows. I have cows, I have animal husbandry, fisheries, agriculture. Then the food. We have all that, and that is what makes us independent and sustainable. So we don't have to buy. And we have energy from biogas, we We have stove that cook from all the leftover from the waste of non-organic waste. And then we also have the water business. And lastly, we have the waste, recycle, organic and non-organic waste. That's how we survive. It's already 3 o'clock. I know time is very tight, so this is where I have to stop, because actually I have a lot more program on sustainability, independency and resilience, but since the time is already short, I'm sure I would like to discuss further with our participants and if possible with all the other speakers. Jazakumullah khairan kathiran jiddan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much to candidate Dr. Umi Wahida for your inspiring presentation. I'm on your way home. Go back from campus or yes? Yeah. Thank you so much for your inspiring presentation, especially in sharing about the important use of technology in Nurul Iman Sharia Islamic Boarding School. We believe your valuable ideas will motivate us to respond to a better education strategy during this hard time COVID-19 pandemic. Once again, thank you to Umi Wahida. And then, yeah, bye. To all participants, you can get the material of the presentations from our speakers at the end of the webinar. And our operator will give the link to the chat box. And yeah, thank you for that. Now we are moving on the last speaker. Our last speaker is Dr. Iman Sastra Mihajat. He is the head of Sharia Oman Arab Bank, and he has more than 10 years experience in Islamic finance industries such as commercial Islamic bank, central bank, takaful company, and Sharia advisory. He also has teaching experience as a visiting lecturer in Islamic banking and finance in several universities in Jakarta and Indonesia as general. He is also well known as a Sharia expert in Indonesia. He holds an LLB from Al-Azhar University Cairo and a postgraduate diploma in Islamic banking and finance IIUM and a master's of finance and PhD in Islamic banking and finance, the Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance IIUM. Now I'm heading over to Dr. Iman, please, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much for the time, and thank you for Dr. Atiqi for the invitations. I'm very glad to be here among the the experts in Islamic banking and finance. As you know, the previous speakers, they are mostly coming from the universities and social funds specialists. Which is come into my presentations, I will more focus on the how the Islamic finance, tackling the COVID-19 in Oman experience. Let me, how do share this one? Sorry. Screen. How do screens?
Sorry, you face any trouble, Doctor?
No. I just want to make a full screen.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Now it's okay. Okay. We already going through Bahrain, Indonesia, as well as Nigeria, Malaysia. When it's come into my slides, I'm focusing on the Oman experience, especially how the Islamic finance tackle, how the Sharia, the art of Sharia in tackling the COVID-19, how we do, cover the issues among the citizens in Oman. Before I start, I would like to give you an exposure about Oman. So if you are talking about Oman, it is most of us, I think 99.9%, we can say an expatriate it is like our home. So that's why many people said it is a country where expat feel like at home. So we are in Oman. Yes, we are expatriate, but we are just like in our home country, because the Omani people, they are very very humble, very good in ethics and attitude. You never seen other country in Arab like unlike Oman. So Oman is a very good country to live. So everyone who are living Oman, they are wishing back, to come back to Oman for the second and third time. So this is about Oman. So even the beauty of Oman is that it is described in Hadith. There are many Hadith talking about Oman. One of the most Hadith, it is narrated by Abu Barzah, right? When he said, "Ba'atha Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam rajulan ila hayyin min ahya'il Arab, fasabbuhu wa darabuhu, faja'a ila Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, fa akhbarahu, faqala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, law anna ahla Oman atayt ma sabbuk wa la darabuk." It is available in Muslim, number 2544. So Abu Barzah said, there is one time Rasulullah sent somebody to a city of Arab. Unfortunately, this person, they are got kicked and insulted by that Arab people, and then they are inform Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, regarding these matters. And Rasulullah said, if Oman, the city of Oman, you came in, so they will never insult you, nor kick you or hit you. So this is one of the beauty of Oman. So when many people that we ask, how do you find Oman? They said, this is like my home. This most of the experts saying this statement. And the second thing is, you will find the best leader of the country. I can say one of the best in the world. Because this is also narrated by the hadith of bin Malik. He said, if you because he heard that Rasulullah said, khiyar a'immatikum alladhi tuhibbunahum wa yuhibbunakum wa tusalluna alayhim wa yusalluna alaykum. So he said, the best ummah, where you are get the best leader, where the leader loves you and the citizen loves him, and also you pray for him, and also the citizen for him. So this one, the descriptions about Oman is that. So alhamdulillah, we do have a best leader, the late majesty, for example, Sultan Qaboos, which is a passed away last year. And we have also now also the love and the best leader, we do have now Sultan Haitham. So these both are the best leader that I ever seen in my life, right? So with regard to the COVID-19, Oman, alhamdulillah, by yesterday, the daily report will much decrease compared to the previous one, because we started the curfew since 24th July, all right? Because the test, the positive case, it is more than 1,000 before. Sometimes there is reach to 2,000. So after the curfew, which we are not allowed to going out from 7 p.m. until 9 in the morning. So every store closed, even delivery is not allowed to do the business activities during the time. So so after this curfew until 8 by today, all right, by July 30, the positive case already decreased a lot, into 590, right? And yesterday, the last report, if you can see here, the remaining only 354. So these 354, 289 Omanis and 62 expatriate non-Omanis. So and our recoveries, percentage, although one of the best in the world, it is almost reached to 90%. So out of 81,000 cases, so 72,000 is recovered, right? The cumulative total death is only 502, which is quite also low, even in GCC. Right. It's come into the Islamic finance growth in Oman. If you can see into the table in the PowerPoint, we can see in the last 5 years, the positive growth in Oman is always shown in every year. For example, in December 2015, the growth of Oman is Islamic banking market is reached 7.45%. But for your informations, Oman is quietly started. The Islamic banking is quietly new compared to GCC market and also the global. We are starting Islamic banking and Islamic finance activities on the January 2013 through the the Royal Decree number 69 2007 on December, right? So we are quite new invent. We can say that compared to other countries, even like Bahrain, Indonesia, and Malaysia. But our growth, right? Our growth is too much. Always reaching double every year, right? Starting from December 2015, our market share is reaching 7.45%. On December 2016, our market share compared to the banking market share is 10.3%. On 2017, we are reaching 12.9%. December 2018, we are reaching to 13%. And December 2019, we are reaching to 13.9%. Alhamdulillah, by March 2020, our market share is become 14%, which is not much, compared to Bahrain, which is started long time back, which is 15.4. Oman Islamic banking actually, they are central bank is they are targeting the growth of 10% by 2022, right? Alhamdulillah, before 2022, we are already reaching 14%. However, during this pandemic, during the COVID-19, as per the quarterly report in 2020, the profit of banking is decreased from 2.5 up to 25%. So there is a decrease, but still a positive, right? And last July, the report is Q2 from 10 to 25.7%. Although it is decreased in profit, but we are the profit still positive. However, in Oman Islamic banking industry has been ranked among the fastest growth globally by IMF in 2018, which Oman shows the growth of around 76% compared to 2017. From the takaful sector, we also have a double-digit growth in 2018 by 17%, and 2019 we also increased the growth of in the takaful industries by reaching to 20%, which is according to the annual report of the Capital Market Authority of Oman. Right. So the market share of takaful industry at the end of 2019, the total market share of takaful companies in Oman increased from 12% to 13.2% of the total insurance portfolio. So it is not far from takaful market share in Indonesia, which is around 12 to 13%. However, our banking, Islamic banking market share, which is far away from Indonesia, which is only 6% for the last year, we already reached 14%. In terms of Islamic capital market, at the end of 2019, for example, Sharia Muscat Securities Index closed the year at the 536 points, falling at 6.43%, which is comprising 15 companies in Oman. We are based on the IOF Sharia Standards Review on quarterly basis. Let's say, for example, the main business activities of the company should be Sharia compliance. and the the loan to the total assets is cannot be reached 33 or 50 plus 1% as at the end of 2019 at 2018 Sharia capital market Muscat security index closed the year by 599.1, a year decreased by 70%. So capital market is not follow the takaful and Islamic banking industry, which is quietly decreased by 70%. At the end of 2018, Sharia capital market value reached approximately 1.91 billion, comprising Sharia compliant shares, investment fund, sukuk, which is representing 10.73% of total market value. And so in the Islamic capital market, only representing 7.3%, right? On the last year, sovereign sukuk ijaro issued in 2019, amounting 300 million. As always, sukuk issuance by government is always oversubscribed, right? Currently, Islamic capital market in Oman try to arrange the issuance of Islamic real estate investment trust, as well as other type of product in Islamic capital market. All right. Okay. The world economic outlook and impact to GCC Islamic finance growth Oman perspective. As you know, the growth projection based on the IMF data in 2020, the global will fall into a negative 1%. However, in 2021, the economic growth will reach into 6.6%. Of course, in the GCC market, including Oman, IMF predicts Oman to contract by nearly 4%. Sorry, oil price remain the top factor for development of Islamic banking and finance, because most of the Islamic banking industry, connected each other with the oil industry, because most of our Islamic banking client they are dealing with the oil related matters. All right. So that's why if you compare to the growth projection by in IMF and also in Oman perspective, Oman maybe this year they are nearly contract to 4% to 2020 due to the impact of COVID-19 outbreak, as well as drop in oil price. So we do have faced two issues currently. First is the COVID-19 outbreak, and second one is a drop in oil price. However, although we Oman contract in decrease 4% negative in 2020, while in 2010 Oman will grow by 2%, which is quite better compared to Middle East and North Africa forecast.
Sorry, doctor, for interrupt. You still have another 5 minutes left.
Okay, right. So as you know, why we do have a negative growth on middle break. First, of course, the economic slowdown, and second is government spending will decrease. And as I see that also in other Arab countries, unemployment rate is increased. We do have also faced a customer default, and we also face a lot of rescheduling and restructuring without any additional prices, rental and fees. And also we face also some kind of liquidity issues. Right. On the rescheduling and restructuring and refinancing, there are a lot of things that Islamic Bank can do. For example, before contract signing, we can remodify the rate, and during financing process stage, we also can modify the rate. But after the contract, we cannot modify the rate, but we can extend the tenor. However, and during financing period, we are allowed to reschedule and restructuring based on the customers' ability of payment. Right. Now, what are Sharia initiative in order to cater all these kind of the COVID-19 issues? As you see in the Quran, we are suggest to provide the deferment of payment if the customers they are having difficulties, like وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة, for example, in Al-Baqarah 280. And also there are a lot of initiative done by Sharia board, either from the institutional level or central banks level. Like for example, Sharia board suggests for early zakat payment, although it is before haul. Let's say for example, you are obliged to pay zakat for the next 3 months, but Sharia board said you can do by this month, because the need is there, right? Including zakat mal, deposit, shares, investment, profit, and so on. So allocating some percentage of large profit also is suggested by the Sharia board, distributing all charity amount in the charity account approved by the charity organization. We do have also, even we are make our charity amount zero in our account. In order to have citizen, we also contribute most of Islamic bank in Oman. We are contribute a lot to Ministry of Health in Oman. Some they are providing 1 million, some they are providing 2 million Omani Riyal, which is equivalent to, for example, is around 28 billion rupiahs. This is per Islamic bank, for example. No additional price in sale-based contract, that is murabaha, salam istisna, bail manfa'a, bail musawama, and so on, because many banks, they are try to restructure the contract, but by giving additional price. But in this case, Sharia board put in an early warning, the Islamic bank are not allowed to increase even a single shilling to single baisa, what we call it, or single rupiah or ringgit into this kind of restructuring and restructuring. And also we are not allowed to give additional fees. Even you can see when you are dealing with the bank and financial institution during this during that lockdown, you are get a free of charge. This is one kind of our help to the society. Also, there is no additional rental charges during the outbreak. Even when you are staying in Oman, you are also get reduced in rental. Like for me, for example, even I don't ask the landlord, they are giving me reduce my rental, including in the bank. We for example, ijaro, diminution musyawarah, that combined with the ijaro, we are not increase the rental for the the customers. Even we are give a free payment for the first 3 to 6 months. It depends on the condition of the customers. So what should we do in this COVID-19? We do as the Islamic financial intermediary, like Takaful, for example, Islamic Bank, Capital Market, and as the Islamic Bank, we should play the proper intermediary system, in the country, so that we can channel the deposit fund from the depositor into the deficit unit, right? Channel charity the proper manner, which is we have to choose the best and the proper proper organization that need of this kind of charity. We also have to distribute some previous year profit to tackle COVID-19, enough provisions, credit buffer and profit margin. Also, this kind of issue, Islamic Bank try to manage their the provisions and credit buffer, including the profit margin, in order to maintain the the sustainability of the Islamic finance. We also contact our customer in order to QIC method, like know your customer. If they are facing difficulty, we have to call them. We have to provide them solutions in order to help them in this outbreak era. Not focus on. We also speak to our shareholders on this COVID-19 outbreak. We have not much focus on profit maximizations. We should also for doing a social impact. So our product not only for profit, but also it has a social impact on that. The challenges ahead, of course, it is like oil price and technology. In digital payment also, it is one of the challenges, but we do already provide a digital payment, which we are coordinate with the Omantel here, for example. You are just using your mobile in order to pay, the bill. Also, you from your card, you don't need to sweep or enter your card. You just tap it, right? So we do have also this kind of a service. You just tap it and put your PIN, and that's all. It's very easy. So, and the last, because we do have also CBO stimulus package of Oman, Oman 8 billion, which is double compared to Bahrain. Maybe our population also double. All right, our populations in Oman is 4 million, which is 2 point something million is Omanis, remaining is expatriates. So in this case, in the last one, Islamic financial industry, they are obliged to revise the strategy and budgeting, such as focusing financing on food, agriculture sector and health sector. Before, for example, we do not have this kind of budget and strategy, but now we see this is kind of the one of the best sector also to help in order to provide financing in order to help the economy of the country to the better growth. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Iman. Such an insightful presentation, and it's good for all our participants to have a preview of insight and good practices Oman as one of leading countries in the Middle East in terms of integrity and also the technology. Once again, thank you very much. So now that we have heard from our speakers, let's see if we can take a few questions. And I've been getting a few questions here in my pocket. We can also allow other speakers to weigh in if they have any thoughts. Okay, so the first questions I want to put to Dr. Hari. The first question from Bambang Priyo Cahyono, University Utara Malaysia, UUM. By now we can see the dispersions of PUI cluster, Nasi Kandar Napoh, which is spreading fastly into Tiga Negeri. Yeah, to Dr. Fuada Johari. Okay, what is the government strategy to fight this cluster, which is known as super spreader, and how this cluster affected Muslim business? As people know, Nasi Kandar is owned and operated by a Muslim. If you could take the question first, Dr. Fuada, please. Floor is yours. Are you still mute? Okay.
Thank you very much for the question. Yeah, I read the question from the UUM. Okay. Yeah, we learned a lot from the COVID-19 incidents, and again, Malaysia is facing a second wave of COVID-19, and this popular of Nasi Kandar Saleh, I learned from the Kedah, is called as like being fast spreading incident. So I think the most important thing is the collaborations must taken into account. Not only for the government action have to, like we are not really. I mean, the most important thing is the collaboration among the people, the government, and all what we call that parties. We believe that we believe that government have taken seriously about the pandemic and about the case, Nasi Kandar case, and the most important thing is we have to follow the rules. Number one, and at all time, yes, we have to follow the rules at all time. The crucial thing about this case is about the suspected fella is not follow the rules. He breached the rules and avoid to go to the second test, which is he need to follow. So from this, we learn a lot that those who are those who are not follow the rules, that the Muslim have to taken seriously will be impact the most people out there. Now we learn that 7,000 people at Kedah have to go through the test, and the area have to be locked down. So we learn a lot from this incident. So we hope that we don't have this kind of incident in future. So with this incident, the other people out there, out of the what we call that, the area, Kubang Pasu area, we have to be, we have to be alert that we must follow the SOP. So if you go to any entities, any business area, any whatever restaurant, whatever it is, we must follow the rules. We must write down our names, our telephone, our temperature, and we have to scan the My Sejahtera. So it's not about government itself, it's about people. People have to follow the rules. End of the day, any solution that we have to think for the people, for the government, and for those who are affected with the COVID-19, end of the day, we have to think what are the most important. We can't be selfish. That's the second thing. We can't be selfish. We can't think of ourselves. We have to think of others. If we are not following the rules, then we will affect others. So that is happened in the Kubang Pasu area, and now it's being fast spreading, and not only infected the nasi kandar, infected the business, but infected the people. 7,000 are involved with one person, those who are not follow the rules. So we learn a lot from that situation. Hopefully there is no other cluster, and I think there is few more cluster would be involved in the second wave. So we have to more what we call it, take extra precautions on this matter. Hope I answered the question. If not, then we can do personal chatting later on.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Fuad. But I'm curious to know what is nasi kandar Napo ni macam mana rasanya?
Nasi kandar is nice. It's nice taste. It's like mixed curry.
Okay.
Is that the taste nasi kandar or what? Or the case?
I haven't tasted nasi kandar.
Oh, you have to come Malaysia and taste the nasi kandar.
To Malaysia, inshallah, to try nasi kandar.
Luckily, I tested it.
Yeah.
So luckily, I tested it.
Those who came Malaysia, you have to taste once at least. Nasi kandar is one nasi with a variety of curry. You have green curry, red curry, yellow curry, grey curry, with all this curry mixed in one rice, and it feels superb.
Oh, sounds yummy.
Yeah, sound yummy.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, I have another second question. I have second question to Dr. Rizky Primasakti. This is from Jamal, Sekolah Tinggi Ekonomi Syariah Islamic Village. On your data that has been presented, you mentioned that Bahrain has paid more than other countries in handling this pandemic impact. So I just want to ask, how is the effectiveness of the fund? What the directly impacts on Bahrain company, especially to the small medium business? Right, if you could take the question. Thank you.
Right, so the effectiveness of the fund launched by government with regard to the SMEs, right? Okay. According to the data as mentioned before, almost 30% of the Bahrain's GDP, which is 4.3 billion Bahraini dinar, has launched by the government to combat the effect of COVID-19. And here in the kingdom, both governments and private sector had hand-in-hand launched an initiative to relieve the burden of businesses as well as the small medium enterprises. Among of them, as I mentioned in my presentation, is the government had launched a FINA Care campaign. Yes, that campaigns provided by both the government agencies and the corporations to shield, to shoulder the impact of the COVID-19. How they do that? Technically, number one, that fund will be used to pay 50% of Bahraini salary. That is number one. So of course, many business has been shut down. The SME is one of the hit hard by the pandemic, especially the Bahraini businesses who do not have the enough funds to cover out to pay the salary of the staff. So 50% of the Bahraini corporations and Bahraini SME will be covered through this fund. Number one. Number two, with regard to that Islamic banking, as Sheikh Iman Sastra had mentioned just now, it is in line also with the Quran teaching, and Quran Surah Al-Baqarah verse 280, wa inkana isratin ila fanaziratun ila maisarah. If there is any hardship in the someone, so let that be its postponement until they have the ease time. The governments had ordered a moratorium for the conventional and Islamic banking to suspend all the installment, for the their customer. But the most important thing is how to assess the impact of their credit risk profile of this customer, especially after the pandemic. Of course, during the pandemic, they have no business, they're not making money. And after the pandemic, when the business turns to normal, perhaps the many businesses, they cannot catch up to pay out their installment. And eventually there will be a likelihood to rise of the credit risk, expected credit losses. So things like this is one of the crucial aspects that need to be thinking by the regulator. And some of the country experience, like other countries, I cannot name now, but the government had shouldered the credit guarantees up to 50 to 70% in order to help their customer to cushion the effect of credit risk. That is number two. Number three, how do we have SME? Especially for the small and medium enterprises. I think last few months, one of the leading telecommunication company, and also we support the government, the name is Batelco, Bahrain Telecommunications. They provide a laptop, laptop for the students, laptop also for the businesses. And it is also, I think it's important because, I mentioned in my slide, the government had launched more.bh, where the company, they can turn online to selling their products, selling the stuff. But some of them do not have a laptop, or even they don't have enough the internet packages. So things like a laptop stimulus or the internet packages announced by the government help a lot the businesses, especially the small, medium businesses. And a dozen of the packages has been enjoyed by the SMEs in Bahrain. Yes, especially also like other countries like Oman and Malaysia also, where the water and electricity have been exempted by the municipalities for 3 months. I know they extend another 3 months. But the most important thing, what I'm trying to say is the government need to know what is the disease, and how to cure that disease. Let's say if like a doctor, if you go to the medical doctor and doctor says you have the heart attack, right? So the doctor should give the correct medicine to cure the heart attack, not give the fever disease, right? The fever medicine. Here in Bahrain, I think thus far the liquidity support, the relief package launched by the country, alhamdulillah, thus far is quite effective to shoulder the impact of the COVID-19 to the SMEs. I hope we can answer the questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much to the answers from Dr. Rizky Premasakti. And we still have more time for another interesting questions. The third question is to Dr. Aliyu Dahiru. Question from Purwanto, President University. question is strategy for financing and monitoring banks, including other Islamic financial institutions, to improve the welfare of the poor in Nigeria during the COVID-19 pandemic. Please, Dr. Aliyu.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for the question. Like I mentioned during my presentation, the financial institutions, I mean the regulators, Central Bank of Nigeria and other regulators have come up with various several packages, stimulus, so that to support the businesses, support the poor, and what have you. And Alhamdulillah, we have seen the result. I mean, the many businesses have been supported, even though they don't, as I told you, there were no specific for Islamic businesses. They just give it to general, and that's fine. But then the only limitation is that some of these interventions, you see there is interest elements. So many businesses don't want to take it because of the interest element. So there were a lot of cry from the Muslim quarters that we need to have non-interest interventions. And Alhamdulillah, as a result, the Central Bank of Nigeria have come up with 11 interventions in various sectors, trying to, provide the support to businesses, Islamic banking, Islamic financial institutions, and that is on the regulator side. And then from the commercial banking side, the Jaiz Bank, the first full-fledged Islamic bank, it is already having the Islamic options, and it is given just before the COVID-19. The Jaiz Bank distributed around 8 billion naira to micro and small entrepreneurs based on Mudaraba. This is one of its kind, actually. As you all know that most of the Islamic banks, they don't want to go into Mudaraba. They rather prefer Murabaha. So that has supported those small businesses, and it became a litmus test that they now continue using that Mudaraba contract to support some small businesses. And they are now collaborating with Central Bank of Nigeria to provide more funds based on non-interest fund. So I hope I respond to that. Yes, sister?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Aliyu, for your answer. Thank you so much. Okay, next question is to Ummi Wahida the question is from Haris Fadli. How can you survive with so many santries without any payments? What business do you run so that you can survive? It's amazing. Okay, can we connect to Ummi Wahida? Okay, we try to connect to Ummi Wahida. So how is it, operator? Okay, maybe we can continue to next questions. Yeah, next questions is for Dr. Iman Sastra Mihajat. Question is from Purwanto from Preston University. What is the role of Islamic banking and finance in Oman so that it creates equality in the economy to date, even during the COVID-19 pandemic situations? The floor is yours, Dr. Iman.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions from Mr. Puanto. Actually, I do provide the points that what Islamic finance has been provided in order to tackle COVID-19. We do have a lot, fatwas, coming on and during this COVID-19, including, like, for example, the payment of zakat is this, allowed, and even it is, obliged during this COVID-19, because although you are zakat is still not, come into the house. For example, it is still after 3 months, 6 months, you are allowed to, to pay the zakat by today, because there are a lot of, organizations in a person, also in persons needs in this during the current outbreaks. and other things also, like for example, because our term deposit, for example, for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, we are allowed also to ask the Islamic bank to provide, from that. For example, if you are, arrange your term deposit for every quarter profit, you are allowed to ask the bank, Islamic bank, to pay the profit on monthly basis, so that you can help, your neighbors, your friends who are affected during this COVID-19. For example, some of the people, they are get decreased in terms of their salary from 20% to 80%, especially which is much affected is tourism, related industry, such as airplane, aeroplane, tourism, like Oman Air, Salam Air, for example. Most of them, they got, affected. Even they are sending a letter to the banks that most of their, salaries that already decreased by 20 to 80%. So that's why the Islamic Bank provide also the, the for example, during this 3 to 6 months, they are allowed to not pay anything. So we give some kind of moratorium periods. In the bank, we call it moratorium period for 3 to 6 months. So during this 3 to 6 months, it depends on the condition of each person. They are allowed not to pay anything during this time. Even for example, if the customer also, if they are feeling hard to pay, for example, monthly installment, even we are decrease their monthly installment into 50%. Or for example, if they are only paying 300, they are allowed only paying 150. And for example, in Indonesia, if you are having a monthly installment, for example, for 10 millions, the Islamic Bank will allow you to pay only 50% of it, for example, 5 million, even 40%, 4 million Indonesian rupiahs. This is some of it. And we are allowed also the shareholders to pay their zakat on shares early, right? So even we are, Sharia board, proposed to the management that your charity account, it should be null during this pandemic. So during our last board meeting, we are getting approval from the Sharia board that we will transfer in 100% of our charity account to the charity organization. So our charity account now zero. So we already fully distributed our this charity account. So there are a lot of things that we provided to the country in order to tackle this COVID-19 outbreak. So I think this is part of it. I think other things we have provided a lot. Also, we contribute to the Minister of Health of Oman. As I mentioned earlier, some banks they are providing 1 million riyal, some banks 2 millions. 1 million Omani is equivalent to 38 billion rupiahs. And this is only one organization. There is one providing 100 billion rupiahs if you convert into rupiahs, in Indonesian rupiah. So I think this I can answer your questions, and thank you very much. So for more detail, you can check on the my presentations, what we have done in order to tackle this COVID-19.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much to Dr. Iman for your answer. Okay, now maybe I will go back to Umi Wahida, since we can reconnect to Umi. The last question is to Umi Wahida. The question is from Haris Fadli. How can you survive with so many countries without any payment? What business do you run so that you can survive? And it's amazing.
Alhamdulillah, Rob. I mean, you see, if we look through my slides, the most important thing is food, energy, water, and waste. Since I have 45 business units to take care of these 15,000 free children, all my businesses is focused in food, energy, water, and waste. And even if you have pandemic, COVID, or whatever, we can still survive. We can be sustainable and independent so that we focus on that. The problem with, with the Indonesian economy is that we always import everything. We import rice, we import sugar, we import energy, everything is imported. And I don't understand. Indonesia is so rich, they have everything. How come they must import? I'm not trying to show off or I'm trying to be arrogant, but Alhamdulillah, myself, I'm a woman and I can still feed 15,000 children, everything free, education. I can still pay my teacher salaries. I have no salary cutoffs. Everything is still as business as usual because we focus in the few: food, energy, water, and waste. So if I want to give, if anybody need advice on how to survive this pandemic, how business can still run as usual, we should go back to what is the essential in the basic need of humans. Human needs food, human needs energy, human needs water, and humans produce waste. And if we focus our business in few: food, energy, water, and waste, inshallah, we can still survive, we can overcome the pandemics, and we can still be independent, sustainable, and resilient. Barakallah. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much to Umi Wahida for your answer. And ladies and gentlemen, there is so much we can share related to these issues, but we are running out of short time. So I guess our question session is over, and we are sorry we cannot accommodate all in questions, but we thank you for your participation on our Q&A session. And so let me close by conclude the words what speakers have been presenting today. On the impact of pandemic COVID-19, global economic shock with devastating effects on economies, society, households. With regards to the business sector, small and medium enterprises are particularly vulnerable, and many of them are already on the verge of collapse. And given the fact that SMEs globally account for 90% of all enterprises and generate more than 50% of the employment, pandemic is bringing cost of output and high unemployment. So I think we really urge the experts in Islamic finance, also the banks, as well as the institutions to really leverage. We'll hear saying to leverage all the stakeholders of it. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll hear saying the before we close the webinar. The prayers will be from Dr. Hidayat, and the floor is yours, Doctor.
Okay, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks so much for this opportunity. But I'm so sorry to all because I am in madrasah area now. So their tradition is repeating Al-Quran every evening. So before I lead this doa, let I send my thanks to moderator, especially to our lecturers and to the Dr. Atiqi as investigated this seminar and her fellows. Before we read dua, let we read Al-Fatihah first. Let Allah bless our seminar and what I want to do now to resolve this pandemic. So let Allah bless all and resolve this COVID seminar. Kiramil Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا شاكرين حمدا ناعمين حمدا نعمه ويكافئ مزيدا يا ربنا ولك الحمد ولك الشكر كما ينبغي لجلالك وجهك وعظيم سلطانك اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأحوال والآفات وتقضي بها جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك على الدرجات وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك كما أثنيت على نفسك، ولك الحمد حتى ترضى، ولك الحمد إذا رضيت، ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا ورسولا، ونفوض أمرنا إلى الله. ربنا انفعنا بما علمتنا، رب علمنا الذي ينفعنا، رب فقهنا وفقه أهلنا، وقربة لنا في ديننا مع للكتب أنثى وذكر. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم يا دافع البلاء يا الله، يا دافع البلاء يا رحمن، ادفع عنا البلاء والوباء والفحشاء وكورونا فيروس من بلادنا ومن كل بلدان المسلمين يا رب العالمين، ما ظهر منها وما بطن. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا وارحمنا كما ربيانا صغيرا، ولجميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات. أمسينا على فطرة الإسلام وكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، أنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم، والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to Dr. Hidayat. And before we closed, we will have a photo session to all our speakers and also our participants. And our operator has already ready for that. Okay, operator. Okay, let's just get ready to do it. Yeah, the first slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3, cheers. Yeah. Okay, for all participants, maybe I can inform you to open your video so that we can take a photo of you here. Okay, next we go to second slide. Operator ready? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, cheers. Thank you. Okay, for next slide. 1, 2, 3, cheers. Thank you.
How many slides?
Okay, how many slides we have? Operator? 6. Okay. Now come to the fourth slide. 1, 2, 3, cheers. All right. We come to the fifth. Yeah, we come to the fifth slide. Okay, 1, 2, 3, cheers. Well, thank you. Last slide. You ready? 1, 2, 3, cheers. Okay, thank you, operator. Now, maybe from our speakers, maybe there will be a short speech from our head of STES Islamic Village, Dr. Atiqi Chollisni, to give thank you to our speakers today. The floor is yours, Dr. Atiqi. Still reconnect to Dr. Atiqi Chollisni.
Bisa dibuka nih saya. Oke. Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, especially for all speakers, honorable speakers, Associate Professor Dr. Fuada Johari. Thank you so much, Doctor, and also Dr. Muhammad Rizki Prima Sakti from Bahrain. Thank you so much, Doctor, and also give my warmest greetings and also warm salam for your wife and also all the exhibitors in Bahrain. And especially thanks also for Dr. Muhammad Iman Sastra from Oman. Thank you so much to join on this session, on this event, international seminar. And to my best friends, Umi Wahida, the strongest one that I have ever seen. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, may Allah bless you, Umi, and all of your santri, inshallah. And also Dr. Ali Muhammad, the very far country from Indonesia. Thank you so much, Dr. Aliyu. Maybe we met about 5 years ago, I think, in IIUM.
Exactly.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Dr. Aliyu. And,
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very nice presentation and very enrichment and enlightened presentation for all of the speakers. I would like to say, Jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless your knowledge and also your experience. It's very, very give much of benefits for us, and inshallah will be get the reward from Allah SWT. From Sekolah Tinggi Ekonomi Syariah Islamic Village, we would like to say apology for all the weaknesses during the seminar, and also much thanks very much for all the committee, especially for the committee that already gave this event successful. Thank you again, and also all the participants. Thank you for all the participants that is already who has joined on this program. Inshallah, the certificate will be given to you directly to your email, and we will go to your email based on your attendance today. Thank you so much, and may Allah bless you all. Jazakallah khair. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Shukran.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you again for inviting. Congratulations. Congratulations, STEI. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you to Dr. Atiqi Chollisni for your closing remarks. So I think this is the end of our session. And thank you so much for the speakers who taken the time out to share their insight and perspective on this important topic today. And also to all our incredible participants, thank you for joining this international webinar. I hope you will have a wonderful Saturday. And let me give a short pantun to close this session. Tiap muslim wajib berilmu dari ibadah hingga muamalah. Jika harta ingin bermutu, mari amalkan bisnis syariah. Thank you and stay healthy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Miss Maya, if you allow me to give a pantun as well, a point. Yeah, we are people from Sumatra, so we are ready to give a pantun. But I will give in English, yeah. Angelina Jolie goes to London. They stay at hotel when there is a rain. Thank you, Islamic Village, for your invitation. I wish you all the best and see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you, Kak Atiqi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Atiqi.
Thank you, Dr.
Iman.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone, for the presentation, for the knowledge, for the invitation. Jazakumullah khair.
Umi Wahidah.
Yeah, Umi Wahidah, yes. Impressed with the Umi Wahidah.
Prof. Fuada. Umi Wahidah ini dulu sempat jumpa di ICMI.
Yeah.
Mahida, Alhaji Muhammad Lawal Maidoki definitely wants to, he will appreciate your presentation. I will share with him, the executive chairman of Zakah.
I also impressed with that. Superb, subhanallah.
Please inform us if you, one of you come to Oman. I'm really glad to, give you red carpet in front of the airport.
Inshallah.
We
talk later, inshallah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hard to touch the leave button. Okay, I touched the leave button. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Kak Atiqi sehat kan?
Alhamdulillah, dokter sehat.
Alhamdulillah.
Gimana kabar di Oman?
Alhamdulillah.
Congratulations.
Makasih banyak sudah hadir. Sepupu saya di Oman baru saja pindah ke Kuwait this year.
Siapa?
Langsung dia tuh 7 years kalau nggak salah sudah di Oman. Ihsan
di
Nasution.
apa perusahaan apa? Siapa namanya?
Ihsan Nasution.
Hah?
Ihsan. Ihsan Nasution.
Saya tahunya Ihsan yang kerja di PDO Oil.
Iya itu.
Tarmizi.
Di petroleum oil. Iya, petroleum oil.
Oh, iya. Insyaallah.
Ya.
Ternyata dunia sempit.
Di Jakarta mampir.
Tadi main ke Oman. Nanti ini diajak ini makan daging unta di sini banyak.
Masya Allah. Okay, admin, you can close the.
Okay. Thank you, Kak Atiqi.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for all.
Thank you for all the committees. Alhamdulillah, very successful event, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. Okay, admin, you can close the screen and also the Zoom meeting, please.